Good morning, artists. Mrs. Langless here, and today we are coming back to our snowflake drawing that we did during our last remote project. And here is an example of what we're working toward today. So in order to get started in adding color, first let's take a look back at what we did last week. So here is my drawing of my snowflake. And one of the things that we learned last week is that snowflakes start with a central crystal and then they develop 6 arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each of these arms looks exactly the same, which is so cool. That is called symmetry, when one side matches another. And this one even goes this way too. So snowflakes are pretty amazing because although each one is different as it falls from the sky because of different weather conditions, all the arms on each snowflake are identical, which I think is really, really interesting. So last week we worked on drawing this. If you have not yet done that, please go back and watch that video so that you can be up to speed with where we are here. All right, so in order to get started with color, I wanted to take a minute to just take a look at the color wheel. So I'm going to grab that. Now, the color wheel is a little bit large. Let's see how I do this. The color wheel is a little large for my screen here. So I'm going to show you on here how, there are colors at the top that range from yellow all the way down to orange to red to violet, blue, all the way back up to our yellow again. And what's interesting about these colors is that some have a very warm feeling while others are very cool feeling. Artists use these colors on purpose to give their artwork a particular feeling. So for example, let me see if I can show you this one. So right here, this is kind of funny. I'm going to have to roll this so I can show you. So right here in this particular artwork, you'll notice that it uses all the warm colors. Warm colors go from yellow to orange all the way to red or red violet right here. And in this artwork, you'll notice that the artist used all warm colors. So it has a really hot feeling. It's showing kind of like a desert scene in a way. And those colors really are what show you that that is the feeling there. Now let's take a look at the other color family here, which are cool colors. So you can see that the cool colors go from green all the way down to violet. And in this artwork, you can see that they're using really mostly cool colors, this beautiful ocean scene here, and it does give it that kind of cool feeling, sort of calm. So think for a minute, do you think that you would be using cool colors to show your snowflake, or would it make more sense to be warm colors? Now, if you said cool, I think you'd be right, because not only is it cool in temperature in the wintertime when there's lots of snow, but also if you take a look outside, you'll see mostly cool colors. Blues, maybe violets, maybe some greens. So today, that is what we're going to work with. We're going to work with the cool color family. So let me show you for just a second. Cool colors again, greens to blue to violet. So what I like to do before I even start, when I know that I'm just going to be using one particular color family, is that I like to sort my coloring materials. So today I'm going to use crayons. And so what I've done ahead of time is just to pull out some cool colored crayons. Lots of greens, blues, violets. Okay, and now I am going to do a little bit of a test sheet. So let me show you. I like to test out my colors ahead of time so that I know what I'm going to be using. So you can sort of see, and remember, if you go lightly with the crayon, you're going to end up with a lighter color, or if you press down harder, you're going to end up with a darker color for each of these. Okay, let me show you this other test sheet. So on on the first example I showed you right here, I chose to use just blues, okay? So check out this test sheet. Here's what I did. I decided that I wanted to make it go from light to dark. So I actually tested out my colors and I put them in order from light to dark, going from a light sky blue to a blue green, and then eventually to this really, really dark blue right here. So these are the colors that I actually used for this example right here. And you'll notice that I colored from the inside out. I used the lightest colors, and then I got darker and darker and darker until it went off the edges of my paper. So that's how I did that, if you're interested in doing it in this way. Now, for my example today, during the video, although I'm not going to color the whole thing, I'm going to show you how to do it in another way so that you have another option. So again, I'm using the colors that I already tested on my paper. And first, I'm going to start by coloring the very center. So on this project, I like to start in the middle and kind of work my way out because I want it to still be kind of symmetric in the way that I'm coloring or matching up on all sides, just like my snowflake. So I'm going to come back and I think I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to go back and I'm going to use that really light sky blue. And I think it's kind of interesting because this drawing, even though I didn't intend it to look like it, to me this looks like an eyeball here in the center. Just kind of happened. Happy accident is what we call that in art. All right, next I'm going to use this darker blue. So I started out with the sky blue, now I'm going with a darker blue. And let's see, there we go. Now, I'm going to come back to that really light because I'm going to go light to dark. You don't necessarily need to do that in your artwork, but that's just something that I'm going to do. So I'm going to start around the center and I'm just going to kind of color in a circle, and I'm leaving a kind of a rough edge as well because I'm going to be overlapping or making some of my colors go right on top of the other ones. I'm just going to go around in a circle. So it kind of looks like a fuzzy or furry circle now. Now I'm going to go to another color. This is actually a green that I'm going to use next. So instead of just sticking to blues this time, I'm going to use a couple of different colors and see how that looks. I'm going to start, and again, I'm sort of overlapping my colors so they'll mix or blend together a little bit on the edges. And there is my kind of fuzzy circle that I've made. Next, I'm going to go to a darker green. So I can just go around. Sometimes I even like to turn my paper as I'm coloring. So if that works better for you, please feel free to do that. That way it can help you keeping, in that circle shape. Keeping that nice rough edge. Looks like it's getting darker, and I think I'm going to switch to a blue-green next. Go like that best. So I'm going to go to this one right here. And again, I'm overlapping just on the edges, turning it as I go if I want, and get this really cool effect. To me, it almost looks like a tie-dyed t-shirt or sort of like maybe a firework exploding in the sky. Just really like how it ends up looking in the end. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so there's my center. Let's see, what color do I want to do next? I think I'm going to do this one. I don't know if there's a whole lot of a difference. Well, maybe there is a little bit of a difference. This one I'm going to press down a little bit harder, okay? Because I want it to be a little bit darker than that last color that I just did. So again, the amount of pressure or how hard you push down can make your colors look different. So even if you have just one crayon to use, you could actually do this just by going light to dark and pressing down harder in certain spots. But be careful, if you're anything like Mrs. Langless, I break so many crayons this way because sometimes I press down a little bit too hard. But like I tell my students, broken crayons, they still work. They still work, so just keep using them. Sometimes they even fit better in your hand if you have a little hand. And you can always take the wrappers off and use them on their side. That's something that we've done before too. Well, I'm actually really liking the way it's looking. So now I'm going to switch to a different color. And again, I'm just going to overlap Ooh, I like that color, that transition. And I'm going to overlap so the colors mix a little bit. And then keep on going. So I'm going to keep on going until this color just spreads out through the whole paper. Now, I am going to stop there because I think you guys have got the idea of how to do this. And today, remember, we're using cool colors. So blues, greens, violets. And try out this coloring technique where you're going from the center and working your way out. It's really fun and the results are so beautiful and amazing. Here's my finished example, just for a little inspiration. I cannot wait to see the results that you guys come up with. So please make sure that you take a photo and upload it back to Seesaw or send it to me through email. I hope you guys are doing well. And since this is our last project before the break, I hope you all have a wonderful vacation. Hopefully we'll get lots more snow during vacation. All right. Take care, everyone.